During a nighttime incident in South Yorkshire, England, during Thatcher's time in office, a house was devastated by a fire. The living room was scorched, with curtains and furniture turned to dust. Ron and May Hall, the homeowners, saw almost all their possessions consumed by the fire, except for a painting. This artwork, depicting a tearful boy with large eyes, miraculously survived the inferno unscathed, untouched by soot or smoke. The phenomenon of a crying boy's painting, found intact in burned-down homes, wasn't new. On September 4, 1985, the British tabloid The Sun ran an article titled "Blazing Curse of the Crying Boy Picture." It detailed accounts of a supposedly cursed painting linked to numerous fires, echoing a local firefighter's observations. According to him, these paintings frequently survived fires across the UK, which seemed to start without cause. He, personally, would never own such a painting, deemed cursed. Despite dismissals of the curse as mere superstition, as in the case of a couple who ignored such warnings, The Sun advised its readers to urgently dispose of any large paintings of crying children to avoid disaster. The widespread presence of crying child paintings in numerous homes might seem strange, but it's a fact. These paintings, peculiar artifacts of mass-produced art, were widely accessible in shops from the 1950s to the 1970s, often attracting young couples. Although they haven't been reprinted for years, the odd nature and intriguing history of these artworks continue to fuel their legend, circulating through online stories and local folklore compilations. The myth surrounding the crying boy painting appears to have originated from the Sun newspaper, intensified by the mystery surrounding the artist, known as Giovanni Bragolin. Despite the clear signature on these artworks, details about Bragolin were elusive for a long time. There were speculations that he created numerous paintings of tearful children, possibly street kids, in either Italy or Spain. The narrative took a turn in a 2000 book titled Haunted Liverpool, which recounted that in 1995, George Mallory, a reputable school teacher, unveiled the artist as a mysterious individual named Franco Seville. The narrative from 2000 blends elements from the Sun's reports and Mallory's findings. It tells of a street urchin, depicted in the paintings, named Don Bonillo, who tragically ignited a fire, resulting in his parents' death in Spain. Subsequently, fires seemed to trail him, earning him the moniker Diablo. According to some accounts, Don Bonillo was adopted despite a priest's objections and suffered mistreatment at the hands of the painter. In a twist of fate, the 1970s saw Don Bonillo meeting his end in a fiery explosion resulting from a car crash. Journalist David Clarke, in his investigations for Fortean Times and on his website, found inconsistencies in the crying boy legend. He discovered that Giovanni Bragolin and Seville were likely aliases for the Spanish painter Bruno Amadio. Clarke found no proof of the existence of George Mallory or Don Bonillo. Amadio, who studied in Venice post-World War II, is believed to have produced 20-30 paintings of crying boys, with prints sold in department stores until the 1970s, according to Clarke. Additionally, artist Anna Zinkaisen created a similar series of crying child paintings, which were also considered cursed. In their book, The Martians Have Landed, Robert Bartholomew and Benjamin Radford discussed the public's reaction to the Sun's articles about the crying boy painting. Many wrote to various newspapers, with one woman expressing confusion over the sudden belief in the painting's curse, contemplating its disposal for safety reasons. Despite efforts by skeptics to quell the panic through interviews and open letters, the narrative persisted. The Committee for Skeptical Inquiry's website notes that the Sun intensified the story by adding details, like the urchin being abused by the painter, suggesting the fires were acts of revenge from the child. Clarke mentioned that the Sun was vying for readership with the Daily Mirror when it decided to expand on this story, which gained further traction on the internet. Stephen Punt, a comedian and writer, delved into the crying boy painting legend on his radio show Punt PI. He sought out the actual locations involved and discovered Jane McCutcheon, who had displayed the print in her living room during the 1980s. McCutcheon recounted a harrowing experience, While she was in her kitchen, her handmade draperies suddenly caught fire. Her family managed to escape, but their house was ruined, with the exception of the crying boy painting. She recalled to Punt that the boy's face was still visible on the artwork after the fire. A firefighter, upon seeing the painting, exclaimed in dismay, recognizing it as part of a pattern. McCutcheon, linking the event to a string of misfortunes, began to believe that the painting was cursed, leading her to dispose of it. While investigating the crying boy painting myth, it was found that most fires attributed to the painting had ordinary causes like cigarettes or accidents with deep-frying pans. The legend primarily hinges on the painting's seemingly miraculous survival in fires. To explore this, Stephen Punt purchased a crying boy painting. Experiencing unexpected delays while transporting it, Punt grew apprehensive about the alleged curse. In a test with construction researcher Martin Shipp, they attempted to burn the painting. Only the string it hung from and the lapel of the boy's jacket caught fire, with the painting itself sustaining minimal damage, including a small hole before the burning ceased. Punt and Shipp speculated that a fire-retardant varnish could explain the painting's resistance to fire, which would demystify its survival in numerous house fires. David Clark in his research noted that the painting was printed on compressed board, which is inherently difficult to ignite. In 1985, during the peak of the crying boy painting craze, The Sun escalated the myth by urging readers to send in their paintings for destruction. The Sun's editor revealed that they were inundated with these artworks, yet he personally declined to keep any in the office, fearing the alleged curse. The newspaper branded the painting as a fire jinx. Following its initial report, The Sun ran another story titled "Crying Boy Curse Strikes Again." Interestingly, the painting featured in this follow-up was not the same as the original. Yet the narrative remained consistent. A routine fire incident gained an eerie dimension when a crying boy painting was discovered unharmed amid the ashes. The legend of the crying boy painting has endured into the digital era, even inspiring fan clubs. Although these groups have since disbanded, their activities around 2002 are documented on the former blog of artist and coder Mario Klingemann. The blog featured discussions about transactions of crying boy paintings and a fan club based in Holland. Klingemann's interest in the legend was piqued by the artwork of Laura Kikauka, who modified the painting to include red LED lights for the boy's eyes. For Klingemann, the peculiar nature of the painting is what captivates him, enhanced by the legend. Recalling his childhood holidays in Italy during the 1970s, he remembered seeing these paintings being sold at street stalls, finding them quite unusual. Klingemann has since amassed a collection of these paintings and developed a crying boy tear generator. While he often receives inquiries to purchase or sell these artworks, he clarifies that he does not believe in the curse associated with them. Gail Nina Anderson, in her study of art folklore, attributed the rapid spread of the crying boy legend to its accessibility. The paintings were affordable and readily available. The phenomenon expanded to encompass all similar artworks, including those depicting crying girls, thus broadening the curse's lore. The Sun newspaper reached the zenith of its sensational reporting on the legend with a Halloween article in 1985 titled "Crying Flame." The publication declared that it had definitively ended the curse by organizing a massive bonfire to incinerate numerous paintings sent by the public. This event took place near the River Thames, symbolically lifting the curse as the paintings turned to ash. The Sun, maintaining its flair for dramatic narratives, quoted a fire officer present at the bonfire who expressed a sense of relief, suggesting that the act of burning the paintings allowed people to finally ease their fears.